Welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage and today we're going to be having a look at Bitcoin. Before we jump into that, I just want to say thank you for all the support, and if you're enjoying the content, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Okay, so let's get into it. Now basically what we're looking for is still that same potential, looking for this potential to actually form a bigger third wave here to the upside. We haven't got that confirmation yet. We are starting to form good structure here, but what we need to do is see this start to break to the upside here and start to get out of this range that we've been sitting in here between this sort of 26,518 and this higher area here, sort of this 29,192, 29,200. We need to start to see this push to the upside. So there is always the possibility we could still see this come back down deeper here. And the support zones we're looking for is this 26,631 to this 24,810. And that is provided we stay above this zone of this 23. This will be still looking for this wave 2 potentially. And that's valid for as long as we stay above this 23,896. However, if we do look to break down in a much bigger way here, potentially our lower support zone would be this 23,580 to this 21,182. So, these are going to be two key levels if we're looking for this potentially as, looking to expand this move to the upside and saying that, overall we have a bigger structure here where we are looking for this as an A, potentially a B, and then we're looking either for a C wave, which could push up towards this zone here of this 35,801, or alternatively a much bigger move looking to actually target out this 43,000. So these are all viable alternatives here. We can also argue, like I've got it labeled here, that potentially that we have a fifth wave into this high here. So that's one thing we need to be aware of. If we do have a fifth wave up into these highs, basically what we'd be looking for would be coming back down into this zone of this 20,757 to the 17,104. So these are still possibilities. We need to be aware that we could still see a move down into these areas, even potentially coming back down and testing some of these zones lower down here. We've got to just be open to that idea that we could see that. So now, if we are talking about this potentially being a completed move here as a wave two, what I'm looking at is two current ways, looking at two ways that this could potentially be playing out. So if we want to look for that bullish bias here, basically I was talking about this yesterday and saying that, potentially we could look to actually move up to this zone here, this 28,857 to this 28,425. And we're looking at this possibility that this in itself could be a flat correction here. So this is still viable at this time, though we need to be aware that, we need to just be cautious that within this doesn't find support and look to push up again. So we're going to go over that in a second. But what I'm being, just keeping an eye on here is if we do start to develop a five-wave move to the downside, or in fact, it could even be a three-wave move, and this is a W and X and a Y. But basically, what I want to see is whether we actually start to break down deeper here, and we see either something like this, ABC down, we see another B wave, and then we come back down deeper here, looking to actually potentially come down towards the zone of this 27,340. Obviously, this would actually bring us down into the support zone again and potentially look to actually target out some of these key areas here. This 27,500 to this 27,059. If we start to lose this 27,059, the move to the upside becomes less probable, and then it's potentially playing out as one of the bearish options, which we'll go over in a second. So within this move, we're still looking for this potential to the downside. So like I said, that 1-to-1 is here at this 27,339, and that could actually bring us back into some of these key areas lower down here. This 27,500 would be that 618 golden pocket here. Potentially that could be still something that plays out. So we need to keep an eye on it. For as long as we stay below this high of this 29,187, need to be cautious that this doesn't develop into something else to the downside here. So that's what we're keeping an eye on there. Basically, this could still be looking for the C wave. If we want to argue, however, that, maybe we've got a bottom here and we're looking to push away. So this is also viable. Can argue that we have a 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and then a diagonal for a fifth. So with that said, basically, this would then imply that we have this. Let me just change this degree. This wave 1 completed here, and we could be looking for a wave 2. So If we fail to push down in that C wave, potentially what we could see within the structure is something like this play out. I'm keeping an eye on this. This 27,718 to this 28,585. Basically, what we need to be cautious of here is that we don't form this as an A, this is a B, and then we get another C wave to the downside. So this is something, we need to be on the lookout for. If this starts to break down more impulsively, and we get a deeper move here, and this just actually directly sells off, and we look to push down much deeper towards this zone of this 28,000 area, we'd have to start being cautious that we don't have five wave moves in here, where basically this would be one, two, and then we get this whole move pushing down deeper here for a 3, 4, 5, something like this. So this is, I'm just looking at this as a three-wave move because that's all the information that we have at the moment. But it is possible this could turn into a much bigger move to the downside here, which could actually then look to invalidate this possibility that this is a 1 and a 2 already starting here. And if we did get that five-wave move down like that, basically then that would be looking at that potential support zone down here getting tested again. This 27,500 to this 27,059. So that would be something we'd be looking out for if we start to develop more impulsively to the downside here. Okay, so that's basically those two options. If we have completed here and we do find this support higher up, basically what we want to see is a nice strong move. So I've got the 1-to-1 here. If we did come up to the 0.618 and retest the zone, I mean 50% would be a retest of these highs. So if we do see a three-wave move back up to this area, potentially we could still look for this C wave down towards this 28,176. Finding support there would then put us to the next phase that we want to be looking at for this to actually be looking to extend out. And they'll be looking to actually push up towards this 30K range for this to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then looking for this fifth wave here towards this 31,000-ish area to this 30,582. So this wouldn't, the problem with having a move like this, if it was so shallow, it wouldn't really fit into the idea of this bigger third wave here. So we'd have to just monitor this and see exactly how this plays out because what we'd want to see is ideally a move up towards this 32K region for this to become a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then looking for a fifth wave potentially up here towards this 33,391 to this 32,630. So this all kind of ties into that idea that we're having that extension and that we're already within this third wave. But even if we did move up into this zone, it potentially wouldn't be high enough to facilitate this third wave, which this third wave, we're looking for this ideal target of this 35,192. Obviously, sometimes we don't hit these targets, and there could be something else playing out here where we get something like an extension in the fifth wave, or potentially the way that I'm counting this now, there might be some additional extension in here. We might form another 1, 2, then another 1, 2 here, and then that actually pushes these targets up higher. So this is the main one we want to see look for confirmation, which would be this 35,192, and that would be looking for this bigger move as a 1, 2, 3, look for a 4 and a 5. And then that could tie into actually getting us up here towards this 38,750. So, we do need to extend out a little bit here to see these targets. And really what if we are looking at this as the blue count that we have here, really we want to see this start to get moving. Otherwise it's going to be less likely, if this just sort of sits around here and just gets choppy, the potential of this starts to dwindle a little bit, and then it potentially is, rather that we're still forming corrective structure here. So we were talking about the possibility of having a bit of flat correction in here. This is still viable. The problem is the way this move is developed here to the upside does look like a five-wave structure. It's the only way you could count this as a five-wave move down would be as a diagonal, where this be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but then you can't really do that because this wave 5 is not long enough. So yeah, this is not my favorite interpretation here. The only other way this could be is if this B wave isn't actually completed yet. and we're getting some kind of another move to the upside. If that's the case, it would become less likely that it's in this manner that we need to look at this move. So if we see, what I mean by this is, if we do see another push up here, for instance, this is a this is a B, and we get a push up for a C wave here, that could actually look to take us up into these higher ranges that we were looking for. As a flat correction here, we have met the requirements, so I'm not really saying it has to, but potentially a 1-to-1 would take us up to that 30,000 area. So that would then be, this is an A, B, and a C. If that does play out, potentially we'd have to adjust how we're looking at this. If we want to look at this as a correction, we'd have to say that this is an A. Potentially we get, a bigger B wave in here, where this B wave is actually higher up here. And then we could still see that C wave. So this is why this is a little bit of a tricky area here. This is some kind of a bigger corrective move here. Potentially it's completed here and risk could start to move away, but it really needs to start to prove itself. And we can't lose these lows of this 27,523 region. Once we start to lose that, that makes this additional leg fall apart. And then, basically once we start to lose the lower internals of that support zone, this 27,000 area, it starts to become less likely again that we're going to get this push to the upside. And then I would still be looking for more confirmation we are in a 5 wave move down here, potentially as I mean, the only way it would really work at the moment is if it wasn't completed yet, we're forming some kind of a diagonal here maybe. But yeah, it's not the greatest. It's not the greatest way of sort of trying to count it. It's really sort of stretching it up. It's stretching the count a bit here. So what I'm keeping an eye on is basically, if we do get a move down here again, do we find support in this support box? If yes, then we need to see this move start to push to the upside here. Failing to do so would indicate that there is something else going on here, and then potentially, instead of this being a flat correction here, we could have just a WXY where this becomes an A, this is a B, we get an A wave down here, we get a B wave back up, and then we get another C wave to the downside. So it would be very messy at that point. You would have to argue that so a one to one of that would actually be, let me just throw this on back into this 27K region. So, whichever way we look at it, there is this potential for this 27 300-ish area, coming into this 27.5. If we do move back into there is still that potential. This could be looking to complete a bigger corrective structure here. And then we look to push up, but it is starting to, well, if we want to look at that bullish count and we're saying that this is another 1 and 2, we need to really start going here. So we'll have a look at it a bit later, and hopefully there will be a bit more information and a bit more structure to work off of. But this is primarily what I'm looking for. If as long as we hold this 27,786, potentially we could see this play out where this becomes a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up into this high, and then we could look to push to the upside. If we fail to hold 27,786, basically that next key support zone is going to be lower down here, and that is going to be at this zone of this between this 27K would be, well, actually 27K is the lowest we'd want to come in relation to looking for this to actually progress up in that third wave. Once we start to break this, becomes more likely we're actually going to get a bigger breakdown here. So we'll have to monitor it as it plays out, but these are going to be the key support zones. If we do break down, 1-to-1 is this 27,309 339 area, and basically, we'd want to see a reaction to the upside from there. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video. Leave us some feedback down below, and also in the description you'll find links to the Discord. Come check it out. It's free to join. As well as that, there are affiliate links for Primax BT and BYBIT down there. Both great exchanges we use on a regular basis. Check them out for yourself. Everyone, have a great day. See you in the next one. Take care.